Very happy to be joined by Andre Patterson, defensive line coach for the Vikings. And one of the big plays in that game was Ifeadi Odenigbo, a defensive lineman with a 56-yard fumble recovery touchdown. Andre is the ultimate team guy, and football is the ultimate team game. The teamwork on that play started by a defensive lineman. Danielle Hunter pokes it away. Eric Kendricks goes for it, can't get it. Ifeadi gets it. Eric, as we will see here, he keeps the charger down so the guy can't get up. And there goes, see right there, you see Eric keeping the guy down. There goes Ifeadi. Take us through the play.
Well, I think the biggest thing, like you said, it's a team effort to get this to happen. So one of the things that happened is Ifeadi had a tremendous rush at the beginning.
Yeah.
So the quarterback couldn't step up to allow Danielle to turn the corner. So Danielle knocks the ball out. And I told Ifeadi, fortunately, he didn't recover the ball at the beginning. He was the first one to fall on it and swing it to the left. And then Eric Kendrick does a great job of knocking the ball out of the running back's hand, but most importantly, keeping him trapped on the ground. And Ifeadi, we work on the scoop and score all the time. He got his hands under the ball and ran with it, but it was a tremendous effort by Danielle to get up and not celebrate and continue to play and get the block to lead Ifeadi to the end zone.
Now, Andre, anybody teased Ifeadi for the end of the play when he went up next to the Vikings fans? Looked like he tried to leap into the crowd, but he was too tired and he couldn't get into the crowd. And then Danielle tried to help him, and Ifeadi's like, no, we're good.
He takes a lot of heat all the time anyway. So, no, I think everybody was tremendously excited for Ifeadi because he works so hard, and everybody's seen how far he's come since he's been here and the time and effort that he puts in to improve and get better. So there was a lot of guys on the sideline that were tremendously excited for him and happy for him to have that moment as a Minnesota Viking.
Why is it so important to get a pass rush, a significant pass rush from that defensive tackle spot?
Well, they have the quickest route to the quarterback, straight ahead. He's right there in front of him.
Yeah.
You know? So they have the quickest route to the quarterback. And so if you have a guy there that can make things happen, the offense has to do a good job of making sure they get him blocked first. So when you have that guy, it makes your two defensive ends better because they have to find a way to make sure they get him blocked and can't put all the concentration on the two defensive ends.
Yeah.
And so our deal since I've been here was to try to find that guy because it would make Everson and Danielle's world so much better because they can't let this guy wreck the game because he has the fastest route to the quarterback.
Now, Danielle has 13 and a half sacks, and he had the forced fumbles, fumble rate, just an unbelievably good Danielle Hunter game at the LA Chargers. His dominance with where he is in his career. What do you like about his progression, and what maybe can even be next?
Well, you know, I think that the biggest thing with D is he comes in every day to improve. You know, whether that's in the meeting room or whether that's on the practice field, he comes in every day to get better. And as long as he keeps that thought process throughout his career, he's going to continue to improve as a player. And I tell people all the time, you know, as a defensive lineman, you usually start to hit your stride around 27, 28 to your 30, 31, 32. That's usually the sweet spot in your career, okay? And you develop the man strength, okay? And people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that because he looks like a specimen already, right?
Yeah.
But he still hasn't got all of that oomph that happens when you get to the late 20s, early 30s. So when that happens for him, his game's going to continue to rise even more. The other thing that happens is the game continues to slow down more and more and more, and you understand what offenses are trying to do to you, what tackles are trying to do to you, and most importantly, you know this defense as well as you know your cell phone number. So though that part of his game is still on the come. He's only 25 years old.
Yeah.
So he still has room for improvement. And the beauty of it, PA, he understands that.
Now, Andre, they're forever with you as the defensive line coach, Robert Rodriguez working with you, George Edwards, Mike Zimmer. There forever is a player an under the radar player who jumps up, not a top pick. We talked about Ifeadi Odenigbo, Stephen Weatherly with the way he worked. Tom Johnson had the best run of his career playing for you guys, despite playing for the New Orleans Saints, and they generally are pretty good. It's Jaleel Johnson right now. And the way Jaleel is finishing, what's leading to that?
Well, again, I think he continued to improve and get better. And I think the biggest thing is he started to gain even more confidence and he understands he belongs. But I think most importantly, he understands the technique that we use. Okay, and the biggest thing for Jaleel he would revert back to his Iowa days. Okay, well now he plays Minnesota Viking technique all the time.
Yeah.
And the plays come to you instead of you trying to force the plays to happen. And he's playing more 3 technique now than he's playing nose.
Okay.
And I think that's allowed him to show more of his pass rush skills. But again, he's improved a lot and he works hard at it every day.
And he has been and maybe is the primary backup to Linval Joseph. Linval's season, what kind of season is he having?
Oh, he's been very good. I mean, he was playing outstanding before the injury,
Yep.
you know, and when he came back the first game after the injury against Seattle, he was a little rusty. But the last 2 weeks, he's been back to his old self. And, you know, him and Shamar in there together just makes our defense so much better. And, you know, Eric Kendricks is having a tremendous and should have made the Pro Bowl a tremendous season.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, he would be the first one to tell you that he couldn't do it if it wasn't for those 2 big guys in front of him. And you know, so the guys on our team have a great appreciation for how those 2 guys play.
Andre, you mentioned Seattle. They ran for 218 yards against you guys, which is antithetical to anything we see with the Minnesota Vikings defense. What was your message out of the Seattle game to your defensive linemen?
And we didn't play up to our standard. You know, it's the first time all season that we didn't play up to our standard.
Right.
We didn't do the things that the people around this league know that the Minnesota Vikings defensive line does.
Right.
Okay? And we got into the game and we tried to make plays. Okay? We stopped trying to play our technique and our fundamentals, and it was all about finding the ball and making plays. And when you do that, okay, you put the whole defense at risk. And so I didn't have to go in there on Monday and yell on Tuesday and yell and scream and curse guys out. I just tell them the truth.
Yeah.
We did not play up to our standard, and I made sure they understand. I didn't say my standard. I said our standard here in this room. And we didn't play the game the way that we've been brought up to play the game. And they understood that, and they've come back the last 2 weeks and started to play like us.
What is generally speaking, what is Green Bay's approach to offense? And at this stage of the season, how's their offensive line playing?
You know, their offensive line is really good. You know, they have, you know, the 2 tackles in the center have both been playing there for a long time.
Yep.
The only new guys are the 2 guards. So they're crafty vets, you know. They know how to play off each other very well. You know, the quarterback makes their whole offense better. You know, the running back is a really, really good football player. And he does a good job of making guys miss in space. He does a good job of catching the ball out of the backfield. They use him as a receiver. And obviously 17 is a playmaker at wide receiver. So, you know, we're going to have our hands full, and our guys will rise up to the challenge, and it'll be a great game on Monday night.